The first time I ever worked with DJ Mustard, and I was like, let's tune the 808s to be diatonic to D flat major. He looked at me and was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I think writing songs is like printing out free lottery tickets.
In your case, like everybody knows you won the lottery. Do you feel like people take from you?
Yeah, people have definitely taken from me.
Are you where you thought you would be?
I wanted to do what you were doing. I wanted to write hits for other artists. When you stop caring about the outcome is when you actually get the outcome that you want.
How do you view See You Again 10 years later?
That was the most special moment of like my songwriting career. They wouldn't even let me leave the building until I like signed my publishing deal.
What did success fix and what did it not fix?
Success on its own did not bring happiness. The simple things in life make me happy. Have you ever been to Chili's Encino?
I have not. What was the lowest point in your career?
I was cosplaying happy. I kind of lost track of why I got started in this industry anyway. I lost my way.
This season is presented by NMPA, the National Music Publishers Association, champions of songwriters and publishers everywhere. Welcome to And the Writer Is. I'm your host, Ross Golan. Today's musical savant is back. Since our last conversation in 2017, this guy's hit tops of charts, sold out arenas, and gotten married. Gotten is a weird word. Anyway, leading into his compositional prowess, this prolific, perfect pitch pianist pushes people's perception of popular music. He's become everyone's favorite music theory professor. From Montecito to Next to Me, this man has been my friend for a decade, and the writer is back, Charlie Puth.
What it's from Montecito to Next to Me? So you have no idea who made that theme song?
Shout out to the guy. It was we made the theme song using, this is like, you know, I was part of it was from a sample pack that was like a library.
Oh, okay. So you don't want to get in trouble.
Well, we're not. I mean, it's, you know, it was a free use thing. And then we used like part of it, and then all of a sudden the podcast took off, and now it's part of the theme.
From
but now we should do the
Charlie. From Montecito to Next to Me. This is. Put the big fat 808 under it. Just the boom. Like the Lex Luger, like. Sounds like a Lil B record.
This is just super detuned.
Well, the first time I ever worked with DJ Mustard, I was we were making like some beat for somebody, and it never came out. But I was like, I think it was like in D flat major, and I was like, let's tune the 808s to be diatonic to D flat major. He looked at me and was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I'm just but it sounded doper the way that he did. It was.
Yeah, just totally toneless, just like.
But I think that's where 808s were tuned for such a long time. I feel like you know, my Adidas Run DMC, you know, my Adidas Run just put the little, or J Master just put the little boom. There's no more booms in 808s because everybody listens on their laptops now. People used to listen on like the Alpine system, so like you could feel the bass, but now you need to, it's like a requirement to feel the bass, to hear the bass rather than feel it.
I saw you post the idea of distorting 808s. This conversation is about to get dorky.
Yeah, it's about to get dorky. Leave now if you don't want the dork.
Leave now.
How many cameras do you have here, Ross?
17.
1, 2, 3, 4. I feel like I'm outside of Craig's.
Wait till you see. That's hysterical. We actually have one in your car. We have one at your home. We have one. We have them so many places you have no idea, and we're not going to tell you. But
some upgrades.
Let's get weird.
Some distorted 808s.
Yeah. That it's an intentional mix to make sure people hear it.
Mm-hmm. Because again, people. How are people listening to music nowadays? I do the same. Yeah, sometimes too. One in the mouth. Have you ever done that before? Put the
No.
phone speaker in your mouth to feel, like, try it. Like, clean it and like put the phone speaker in your mouth and you can feel the like 32 hertz and below. Like, feel it and hear it. That's how if I'm like on an airplane
Oh, interesting.
and I don't have my headphones or they're like out of battery or something, I just put the phone in my mouth and I just like listen to the bass. It's a good trick. It's kind of weird, but
Do you fly commercial?
like a mixture, but mostly commercial.
Yeah. Is it hard to be in public?
Not really. If I'm flying to New Jersey, it's like if I'm going to Newark Airport, people are kind of just concerned about getting their luggage. I don't know if they're really
Paying attention.
if they see me. It's like, oh, that's weird. Okay, I got to carry on with my life now.
You know, what the Professor Puth stuff, you
Yeah.
know, going to the 808, clip, they're really enjoyable. And one of my favorite parts about it is that,
Like 23. I think I was 23 when I met both of you, Joe, back there. For everybody who doesn't know, I'm talking to somebody else.
I mean, Then There's You came out in what?
Oh my God, I love that song. On my first album, that came out in 2015.
Oh yeah, so
January 2015.
yeah, 10 years ago. Hey,
Wow.
look at
Oh,
that.
this is so special.
That's really cool.
I love the string section on that. It was I remember making that and I haven't sang it in a long time, but I remember making that record and just being at MXM with you, and I was like, wow. And like Max came in and made a little just adjustment, like little and I was like, oh, that's genius. And we recorded strings, and Johan spent like days on the drums, and it was the first time I had seen somebody, Johan Carlson, if you don't know, if it was the first time I had seen somebody like take an hour to really figure out like what was going on top of the snare. It wasn't just an 808 snare. It was like and I did that for him, and he was like, in his Swedish accent, we were like, what was that? Like, that's my little 808 snare clap beatbox, and this is the and he was like, he took this mic and was like, record that, put it on top of it, so you can kind of hear. And on a record you wrote too, I don't know if you know this, on A Dangerous Woman by Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
You can, if you listen to that, you can hear me.
No way.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I didn't realize that you were layered in that.
I didn't know if it warranted like enough for me to be credited on that, but it was just, I just happened to be there while he was working on it. And yeah, listen to the intro, like the first 10 seconds, and you can hear dum 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 dum. You have to listen really closely for it though.
That's wild. You'd think I would know that.
So I can have this house now.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, I mean, do you find it hard to write because you have such a wealth of musical knowledge? Or do you find, to make... It's if you only know one sound and you have to write a song, you're going to use that sound and you don't have a lot of options. You have so many options in your head swirling around. When do you stop?
Oh, you never stop. I think my biggest thing is I need a collaborator, somebody to kind of calm me down sometimes, because just because I know a lot and I have a lot in my index doesn't mean that I should use all of it. Sometimes I don't really know. Most of the time I do, but there are times I don't know what's best for myself. It's easier when we made Stay, I just went to the keyboard and this is something I would do. It's like a David Foster kind of Chicago kind of thing. And then Omer and Blake put the like the finishing touches and like all the drums and the bass, and like if I feel like if I did that record myself, it wouldn't sound like a Laroi Bieber record. It would sound like a Charlie record. So I kind of just let them handle everything, and they did an amazing job on it. And for my
it makes
own,
it a sample and rather than the whole thing.
yeah, and if I'm working on something for myself, I need a Cash or you or a Joe or a Blood Pop to kind of check me sometimes, because you don't want to, if we're making pop music, you don't want to get get too
What would the
jazzy.
chords be under if you were to have produced "Stay" for Kid Laroi? What would it have
Entirely myself.
Yeah,
I
what
don't
would
know.
it have sounded like?
Probably. How to say it'd be too much, but like it was a perfect mixture because and Blake have such amazing pop sensibilities and know how much to like put in and where to back off and make it universal for everybody. So that's probably my favorite collaboration I've ever done, like production songwriting wise.
How often are you writing for other people?
Lately, not a lot.
I mean, it's all been about the new albums,
It's
I'm
all
sure, but
yeah, and different. Priorities have shifted. I moved out of L.A. I guess my wife will be at this time when this comes out. I will be a father. But I don't know. So I mean, I'm about to be a dad, or I am a dad. You can splice that together because I just don't know when it's gonna happen. But I'm getting the itch to write for other artists again. Even just being here, seeing your studio, I just get excited. I just love making music so much.
Are you having a boy or girl?
I've been instructed not to even tell my closest friends.
Wow.
Can you believe that?
Yeah, no, I mean, it makes sense. It's like, it's hard to keep things intimate in period. Full stop, whoever you are. And then it's really hard when it's like when people are watching.
Well, Brooke is experiencing it now on a very manageable level where she would be able to walk around Soho and it just doesn't really work as well anymore. Like there's a lot of people coming up to her and are very excited to see her. And that's taken some time to get used to as well.
Yeah,
but it's not debilitating. It's more intriguing for her, and it's intriguing for me still to this day, just like it was 10 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, when we first started writing together, Marvin Gaye had come out, but it was on the album that had One Call Away, and maybe See You Again had just come out.
Yeah, I think
right around then.
I think See You Again came out in March of 2015. So I think we got to work in right around that time.
Yeah. And,
when did my album come out? 2015 or 2016? I can't. Was it 2016 of January?
I'm not sure, but if only we had people who could fact check here.
I think it was 2016.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean,
November 2015. That's when the album came out?
Yeah, so then we probably wrote around then.
Okay.
And
around that time, we'll say.
Yeah, and
I
mean, you're famous now, right?
I think I am.
Are you where you thought you would be 10 years ago? What would you tell 10 years ago, Charlie Puth?
Well, if we're really gonna get into it, I came to LA to write. I wanted to do what you were doing. I wanted to do what Benny was doing and write hits for other artists, and then I would sing these demos. I wrote Marvin Gaye for CeeLo. It's kind of like a funny song, and that's the kind of music he was doing at the time. I wrote See You Again for my vocal to be replaced by either Skylar Grey or Sam Smith or someone else to sing the hook who was already kind of in that world for that movie franchise. I kind of wanted to be I wanted to be ultimately the one who would sing it, but I wasn't outright saying that. I was just presenting myself as I'm going to go to Landmark Studios and write some songs for Austin Mahone, and I'm going to, and amongst Nico and Vince, like in Pitbull, like I wanted to have my mark on everyone's artistry, but then that turned into me being an artist.
Are you happy with that choice?
Yeah, I am happy with that choice, but I do.
Given the opportunity to go one way or the other, are you happy you went this way?
The issue that I have now, and issue is the wrong word, the minor setback that I have now is that, and the reason why I'm really selective with what artists I work with, and why it's been maybe 6-8 months since I've worked with anybody, is because when I walk into the room now, there were times where it became less about the artist and all the focus was on me, which is completely incorrect. If the label books a session for their artist and I come in, I don't expect a song for me to come out. I expect to kind of dim my isms down a bit.
Yeah.
Maybe lend like how I'm gonna play piano the way that I naturally play piano, but like it's about that artist. And I kind of stopped doing sessions for a second because it became the focus was directed to me, and it was really awkward at times.
Is it because of you as an artist, or because you're a hit songwriter, or both?
I don't know. I really don't know.
It's like
because
it's more fun to write in a room often when you have to prove yourself, and when everyone is like, if there are 4 people in a room and they can't figure out what the best part is, and they all look at you for the answer, it's not as fun as when you're like able to look at the, you know.
Well, I already know where I'm going half the time. That's what I mentioned before, where I need to be kind of told to sit down and calm down for a second, because I believe my best work comes about when I'm writing on my own. If I like let the song marinate in my head, which I can't do with anybody else because I'm writing alone. If I'm collaborating, I let someone else drive, and I just sit back and see what I can gently lean into. And every time I've tried to do a session as of late, you know, everyone's looked at me to, okay, so do your thing, do the thing that you do. And if I can do that, but then the song always ends up just being okay because I've done that before. I evolve by listening to other people.
Well, let's go how you view some of the beginning stages now. You know, how do you view "See You Again" 10 years later?
Oh, I just love that song so much, and I have such a vivid memory of writing it down. July 14th, 2014. Being in the studio with Andrew Cedar and DJ Frankie at 1635 North Cahuenga Boulevard on the second floor in Frankie's studio. And I remember you know, you remember, it was like every song had a build up. Every song had like a white noise sweep. And that's the kind of record we were making for Flow Rider or Pitbull. It was kind of in that world, like Cody Simpson or something like that. And it had like, and it started to become a situation where we just started adding sounds and adding sounds and adding sounds, and no real song was written. So we kind of looked at each other, and we just met each other 2 hours ago, but we were just having fun adding stuff. And I think Frankie was just about to call. He was like, all right, let's start a new thing. There's no song written here. I was like, wait, before you do that, this little should just, I kind of was a little cocky because I was so excited. I was staying at what now is the Mayborn, was a different hotel in Beverly Hills. I felt very fancy, and I was just in a good mood because it was the first like fancy hotel I ever stayed at. And instead of it being, I went on the piano and just played it on piano, which it turned into missing the D here. It's been and then immediately I went long day, long day. I love following what I'm playing like rhythmically. If it's 1, 2, I said long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. And we kind of all just looked at each other. It's just like, where the fuck did that come from? It was like, if that moment never happens again, like that's fine, because that was the most special moment of like my songwriting career. And it was I think it was the first good song that I wrote, and it happened to be the first one that came out. I'll never forget that day, and we were all crying because we just like, it was one of those rare moments where you just knew that something was really special.
It was also an era where when something was special, there was a machinery behind it that could help push something really special and make sure people hear it and make sure people focus on it. I think sometimes there are some really special songs that fall through the cracks. Yeah. And that's like a special time to have that special moment.
Well, a lot of people might, it did okay when it first came out. The first
It wasn't just like
the first week it came out before the movie.
Yeah.
It did pretty well, but then when the movie came out, it shot right up to number one because it was the most anticipated movie. So I mean, but it had a lot of formalized record label push behind it. They wouldn't even let me leave the building until I like signed my publishing deal at the time because I wrote it unpublished. It was I don't know if that business model exists anymore, that record label industry kind of thing.
We had Wiz here, and one of the things
really?
said, and then one of the things I said to him was just that the patience of 1, 2, 3, how do we not it's this thing where you're like that. I wish you could. It's important for people to realize you don't just have to fill up voids.
Well, the reason why that happened is because we had a bunch of men and women in suits, like the most cooks in the kitchen. I think like over 100 people telling us what we had to say, what Wiz in this particular case had to say exactly. And Wiz was so patient, and Wiz is the most humble, most talented guy ever. And he sent something in. They liked how it flowed. They liked the energy of it. And then I remember they sent back a bunch of notes. And they said, well, you have to mention family in the second verse. And Wiz was like, okay, how could we not talk about family? And that's how he wrote the pre-chorus. He's so genius. How could we not talk about family?
That's brilliant. I really like that. The first album comes out, obviously like sets the stage because you're riding off of like two singles outside of it. You know, Marvin Gaye, I think ends up on the first album probably.
Yeah,
but
it
it was like first, and then
that was
See You Again.
First single. That was on the See You Again. It landed on the international CD.
Oh, it did come out?
Yeah, I don't know if it was on the US CD because there's all the politics with it being in the movie and everything. But we had two very different songs out. Yeah. So that's where that was.
There's
where
the Charlie Puth version of the whole thing. Their verses.
Yeah, there is an unofficial version on SoundCloud that all the Hot AC stations took and remixed, some very poorly, and they took my acapella or just played my SoundCloud, but I think some of them took they isolated the drum beat with some early Isotope software. And it's all out of tempo and everything, but it was, for whatever reason, they didn't want Wiz on the Hot AC station. I think that's such an outdated mentality, but that was we had See You Again and Marvin Gaye. You couldn't have two more different songs. That's where the uphill artistry battle began.
What does that mean?
Meaning, okay, now I like I said before, I came to LA to produce songs for other artists. Now I'm the artist. I'm on the biggest song in the world, and no one knows who I am. I have no artistry at all. Okay, book a photographer. Does he dance? Let's get him dance lessons. And they put me with this nice fellow they put a top hat on me, man. they were making me snap in the mirror. This dude was like, listen, kind of like my boating instructor who I failed the test so many times, and he was like, I'm passing you because I have to go home. Never operate a vessel. Yeah. The dance teacher looked at me and he was like, man, we know what this is. This is not working. I know. I'm going to go to Kitchen 24, get a cookie skillet. And I went back to the label and I was like, turns out I can't dance. And they were like, okay, we tried. No, let's get a movement coach. So you just kind of, I had to learn how to be an artist, and I had no sonic identity. So they were like, okay, put him behind the piano. The piano, like Bruno Mars, that was the only thing that could compare me to. Bruno Mars sang Grenade, and he's on a train track with an upright piano. We're One Call Away. One Call Away is coming out. The video has to start with him playing Rachmaninoff. Dun, dun, dun. We need to prove that he wrote this song. That was the uphill battle, because no one believed I even played piano, believe it or not.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, this is the, we were talking about how much music has changed also since we first started writing together, and a decade of music. And streaming, probably See You Again did great on MP3s and was before probably the bulk of streaming. I mean,
Number one
everything
on
came.
iTunes. I think
Yeah.
it broke the streaming record. 3 million streams the first day, which is still
Yeah, that's still good.
still a lot, but that was when the movie came out and it hit 3 million streams a day. Everybody was like, wow, that was the song that broke the record.
How much once you knew that the label wanted you to dance, move, how much does that change how you write?
It never affected the way that I wrote because I would come to the Donna Streets and write a song with you, and you weren't dancing for me. We were just like we were just focused on like when we would write, we were just focused on we're writing something for me, we're writing something for X, Y, and Z. I didn't really come in with the artist sunglasses and make it all about me. It was about the music. That's kind of how I treated sessions. When I worked with Ian Kirkpatrick for the first time, the objective was to who else was in that session? Lindy Robbins, I believe.
Yeah, that makes sense. They wrote a lot together at that time.
Yeah, and I was I was with him and Lindy, and we were making a song for me, and Lindy was like, "Oh, you're a nice young boy. You need to sing like your lust for a girl." And what? And I'm like, "Oh, this is so interesting. Seeing someone's like thought process. Like I'm seeing her write. She's such a genius. So I'm seeing her write a song in her head and kind of just like say babble to me. And then we came up with a title. I still remember the song was in G major for first time. I think it was. It was very 2014 kind of title. Last first time. This could be our last. Now I remember. This could be our last first time. And I was like, wow, Ian, you have an Audi? You got an Audi from songwriting? And he was like, yeah. That was so cool to me.
That's really funny.
I saw Jason Derulo record "Want You to Want Me" vocals in front of me.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Ian and Lindy are both writers on that. You go into voice notes, and that's like a new era of sorts. You obviously have like attention. And I actually think that these songs started. This is probably right around or post even when we did our interview. That's how long ago we did our interview.
Yeah, I was still like kind of concocting them, or maybe one had come out or something.
Did you feel like this was? Were you finding your artistry still at that point, or when you look back, are you like, that's
I came a bit closer to it. Right when We Don't Talk Anymore, I remember. I won't mention who, but there were many people who didn't believe that We Don't Talk Anymore. I feel like such an unk talking about these older songs, but they still, I mean, there's kids who are discovering them, like they're brand new songs today. I remember I was sitting with Manny. I was lucky enough to mix every record side by side with Manny Marroquin, for those who don't know. And we're at Laroi Studios, and we're mixing We Don't Talk Anymore, and they wanted this other song to come out, and I'm like, Manny, what do I do? Like, I want We Don't Talk Anymore to come out, but like I made it with Cash. It's kind of the outlier of the album. And I would get emails like, it has a Spanish sounding guitar. You're a white guy singing. That doesn't make, these were real things that were said to me. What's the video going to look like? It's like identity theft. And then Despacito with Justin Bieber came out like a month later, and maybe that changed their mind, but I was adamant about We Don't Talk Anymore being a single because I just thought it was, I just made me feel something, and I only get like that when I know that like I just feel something in my gut. And I said to Manny, can you make my mix sound just like warmer and thicker? That's the biggest note that I always get from everybody. Like they want my mixes to be warmer. He was like, I got you. And I came back 4 hours later, went to Kitchen 24, came back, and I said, okay, let's play this song last. And I'll just bite my tongue while we spend hours mixing this other song, which was a fine song. I just didn't want it to come out first. And 2 hours went by, and I was like, wait, before you leave, can we just open up We Don't Talk Anymore? And just when the kick just hit I was like, make it loud as fuck. And Manny did it, and I was like, oh, I just felt like a shift in energy. Everybody would. And then he turned it down and like, okay, this is obviously what we're putting out next. I'm like, patience. That's the biggest thing you need in this industry. You need patience.
Yeah, manipulating how people, and manipulating in a good way.
Yeah,
how you want people to hear your artistry. is as important as creating the songs. Dan Wilson taught me early on, and I
love Dan.
tell a lot of people this. It's like, if you send a file of 20 songs, then the person on the other side, if they listen to all 20, is going to be like, song number 7, that's my favorite. Doesn't matter if there were 19 other good songs, but if you were to send 7 emails of 3 songs apiece, then every time someone opens that, they'll be like, this is my favorite from this email. Then you wait a week, you send the next 3. This is my favorite from this one.
Yeah.
And if you can be patient, then after 7 weeks, you have yourself 7 songs that they really like.
Yeah.
And if you're really smart, you figure out, like, clearly this song is great. Clearly these 2 are not as good. I'm going to send those in a tranche of 3s. And then, and you just know that the listener on the other side, the whoever on the other side is going to have,
Well, music can move people. Sometimes it's just, you don't like this snare. Oh, this is a different mix. This is a mix B. It's the same mix. I've done that so many times. But to answer your question before going to voice notes, with the success of We Don't Talk Anymore, and being that I produced it basically everybody gave me the go-ahead. Okay, he's capable of producing his own songs, so I was very confident, and then I started making Attention, and Done For Me, and these darker R&B kind of influenced Jimmy Jam chord progressions, late 80s R&B pop-leaning things. That was a run-on sentence, but that's when I believe I started developing a little bit of artistry with some missteps along the way.
I mean, we had our James Taylor song on that.
That's right.
So we had a song on that too.
I just saw James like a couple months ago. He still loves that song.
I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that now your newest single is called Changes. So it continued to move on.
Yeah.
As a different song.
Do you know?
At an S, it's a different song.
I mean, it's been a while. We can keep.
No, man. I've spent also what you realize you can do whatever you want in the music business.
Yeah.
As far as like an artist goes, like you can do whatever you want, and people will go with you. I think. And I applaud the fact that it's just like this constant evolution of what you're doing, whatever version of that.
Well, that's nice. I appreciate it. I care about even if people don't get, and there were some people who didn't get changes right away. I think I played it for you at the zoo when we were we were at the zoo randomly in Santa Barbara, and there were some people that didn't get it right away because
out of context, people are going to be like, I do not understand this anecdote. I'm not going to explain it. I'm just going to go along with this because it's true.
Yeah.
We were at a zoo
in Santa Barbara. There are zoos in California.
And we were there.
I wanted to go to a zoo.
With my children.
Yes. And we had a great day.
I came with my children.
The smells were insane, but like it was a nice day.
It was cool that you could see the kangaroos up close.
Absolutely, all of their
people think we're fucking around, and we're actually serious. This actually happened.
No, this actually happened. But a lot of people are.
Yeah, but when you played it for me, I was really
it's so different than.
I'm gonna say this, not that the other stuff is not, but what you've done on, this would be my conclusion of this interview in other ways, but like what you've done with your social media presence as Professor Puth, and this album correlates with that in so many ways that it feels like you've really honed in on the Charlie Puth that I know. Yeah. Like I feel like listening to the album, which we'll get to, and seeing who you are not doing movement and dance and doing stuff that isn't you. This feels so authentic.
It's so
Does it feel that way?
It is, because there are like when you listen to Marvin Gaye, that's a weird lyric. That's like, I used to be cringe is like a weird lyric, and it's very and it's weird to put it over a gentle sounding guitar played in F major, and it almost sounds like the middle of a Broadway show kind of. It
has an interlude.
It has interlude like kind of,
but
energy.
The honesty in that song. I used to be cringe is on the new album, and
track 12.
Track 12. that was the first one that I listened to that we talked about today, and it made me really proud of you because
thanks.
that felt like that you were being vulnerable in a way that I'm not used to you being vulnerable.
I think that's why a lot of people never got to know me as an artist up until right now, right this very moment. People maybe knew my songs more before myself. I never really gave them an end to my life.
Why are chord changes missing in pop music?
Chord changes, well, what do you mean? Like,
Well, okay, so there was a study done that I believe this is the first year in, since Billboard that there was not a number one song that had a modulation.
like a key change.
Like a key change.
Well, okay, that's the number one song in the world, right? The DJO record.
Yeah.
That's 3 chords. I mean, I listened to the new Harry Styles record last night. That's just 1 chord. I think Kid Harpoon did like pedaled an E. Yeah, an E 808. I just listened to it once, so I might be wrong. I think I think things are
Like, why is it that people have got, when we're talking about, when I think of, you've got Michael McDonald and Kenny Loggins.
Oh
and
yeah,
so a lot of the
modulations all over the place.
Yeah. But it's like it's musical, but when you listen to it, it feels like it flows. You brought up when you were playing Stay that it felt like a David Foster thing, and when you listen to Chicago chord changes, it's like, what is happening right now?
Yeah, I think.
But when but you can sing along because of how well the song craft is, and it feels like are listeners unable to hear it?
No, I don't. I think listeners crave it. I think the creators are terrified of it not being heard. I think there's how many songs come out a day? Like 100,000 songs a day. I think there's a lot of concession. There's more concessions than ever, and less as of right now. There's, in my opinion, of course, take everything I say with a grain of salt for who was ever watching. It's just my opinion, but I think there's so many concessions and non-risk taking adventures right now because we just better make this simple so people like it. We better make this in a key that guys and girls can sing comfortably. We don't want to don't get too weird because you've had your last song did really well, but country radio's playing it still, and you don't want to completely isolate the people who like this simple song. So let's just do another. So I admire the artists who are kind of really going left of center. Like did you ever listen to the Childish Gambino record?
Yeah.
He has a song on there. Get high, yeah. It reminded me of like when I first moved to LA, like when the music you would hear in the background or like on old music blogs like Hilly Dilly, where there was just nothing to lose. And I don't know how many people heard that album. I love that album, but I think the next step is for people to start taking a little bit more risks and realizing that it's more important to be human than ever because people are discovering that their favorite artists all of a sudden are not even real people. That's frightening.
You're saying in AI capacity?
Yeah, I think it's more important to be human than ever. Take the risks. Do the key change. Do the modulation. Don't be weird for the sake of being weird, but if something, when you're making something, if it feels right to change the key, do it. There's no like appeasing of a radio PD right now. It's just do what feels good for your artistry.
Yeah, one thing AI is not very good at is lyric writing still, and it makes you realize how complex the English language is, and presumably other languages as well, how complex it is that these algorithms can't construct emotional songs the way humans can still.
Yeah.
And yet they can often create music that is close.
It comes close if the instrumentals come close to making you feel something emotionally, but that's easier to do. It's easier to make a really gorgeous instrumental and evoke a feeling, but that's the fun part. Then comes the task of putting a lyric that matches that. Like I can listen to I Can't Make You Love Me by Bonnie Raitt without her vocal on it and still be moved by it, because Bruce playing the piano, Bruce Hornsby playing the piano, the early 90s production, like it's dynamic, you can feel it.
You know, it was originally an up-tempo.
Was it really?
Yeah. That sounds
horrible in my head.
It is. It was like, you know, it's a up-tempo country record, and it just like didn't come out. It was like a demo. The original demo of that song is up-tempo, and it makes you realize how again, the value of copyrights and songwriting is, I think, at an all-time high and will continue to grow, because I think it'll be easy to change up tempos and try different things. At that time, the idea that it's like, well, let's try this to slow it down.
Right.
And then, oh, now there's the emotion. But even the first version of that song was not the version we know.
I can say a controversial thing.
Please.
I think, and it's fine, Alex, don't worry. It's I think where remember the song "Torn" by Natalie? I thought I saw same situation, but I didn't know that about "I Can't Make You Love Me." But that song originally came out in 1993. It was actually like a grungy, like I thought I saw a man brought. It was like I thought I saw a man brought to life, and then another producer took it in 1998 and put like kind of made it 1998 scholastic utopian. We're about to enter the new millennium. Let's be like Windows 98 just came out. Everything's feeling good. The sky is bluer. They made it sound like that, and it became a hit. I might make a song. I'm just saying, I'm not opposed. If I make a song in the future and it resonates with a few people, it's not a massive. I hate when saying like it's not a big song. It's not a massive hit. But what if there's an AI engine that takes that song and makes it like it maintains the emotion I had when I wrote it, because I know the lyrics are good and I felt something. It just didn't, for whatever reason, it didn't reach people. Maybe there's something in the future that can take that and make it so it does reach a lot of people. There might be, if a human can do that, why can't a non-human do that?
Sure.
Controversial, but
no, I think AI can be great, especially for songwriters.
What's not great about it is taking a whole slew of copyrighted work and then just not paying any of the original songwriters. And you hear, wait a minute, I wrote that on the Donna Street, and now that's not good.
Yeah, there are a lot of ways where it can be nefarious. I hadn't seen this until recently, but I've seen the AI, the AI characters with the AI album and the AI band name and all this, and that being an entity, and that may have its own niche. But what I wasn't expecting was, I saw a video that went around of this guy who's like doing sort of what we do, but I should say more like you do, and you'll do it better than I will. But when you show like how you construct a song, and the guy's like, he's like, hallelujah, 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 and doing like these things, and then all of a sudden, but the guy's like not really in tune and doing this thing, and all of a sudden it's this like full orchestra that's clearly like sunoed out, and
you can hear the
getting like 500,000 streams a day, and he's out there saying like showing it like he's making this record, and you're like, man, this guy cannot sing. And you're seeing some of these things where it's like it's very it can get very Milli Vanilli if somebody doesn't care about the fact that it's not actually them,
No, there has to be real emotional intent behind it. Like, did you ever hear what happened recently with Randy Travis? They took, obviously he's not able to sing anymore,
right,
the way that he did, but there was a song that he had written many years ago, and they had a demo singer come in, and they spent hours, I believe days. They spent days trying to, like, all the isms of Randy's voice. Obviously it was a different guy's voice. They ended up, replace it, like tuning it, make it, comping it, everything, and it sounded so close to an actual 1980s Randy Travis. What was that song called? And there ain't no more where that came from. Very country title.
Yeah.
But like it made you, even though it wasn't really his voice, he was there, sitting there, seeing them craft the record. So I don't know. There's going to be a lot of changing and evolving things. It's not all the way figured out yet.
NMPA is our lead sponsor yet again. What is the National Music Publishers Association? What do publishers have to do with songwriters anyway? Well, unlike artists who can be unsigned artists, there is no such thing as an unsigned writer. You can be a self-published, a co-published, or a published writer. Publishers only make money if songwriters make money. So, NMPA goes and fights for you. They go to Congress, they go and support the community, they fight DSPs to get you paid more. That's what they do. They fight for you, and they fight for this podcast. So thank you for fighting for songwriters, NMPA. Thank you for fighting for us, too. Okay, so I use Splice, and I'm pretty sure every producer who listens to this uses Splice, but if you don't, you need to start using Splice. They have the most incredible licensing library that you can go through for any kind of samples you can think of, but they take care of their original creators. In fact, they just came out with a beta version of their AI suite. Unlike its competitors that we know that may not take care of the original creators, every time you use Splice's AI tool, it triggers a licensing event for those original creators. So there's not a better company that I can think of right now that you can use where you can use the efficiency of AI and also know that you're taking care of the creators. And that is Splice. Going to lyrics, you wrote lyrics on this album. This is a very Charlie Puth lyric heavy album.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
It was a lot of Blood Pop pushing me to write about things that I hadn't written about. And if anybody knows Blood Pop, he can be very direct at times. I would play him a song that I wrote on my own. He would say, "Yawn. What else do you have?" Like, I would be so pissed. So much that I actually resisted working with him for about a year. And I have no problem saying that. I told him that as well. And he would say things. I'll never forget, he came in with a giant whiteboard and said, "Okay, we're going to make your first full body of work. No single out. We're just going to make your first full body of work with no expectations. There's nothing out right now. It's just blank slate, literally blank slate." He brought in a blank whiteboard, and he said, "Have you ever written a song about your dad before?" And I got immediately, like, I tightened, tensed up. I was like, "What do you want? I don't want to write a song about my dad. Why are you saying that to me?" And he said, your dad might need that song one day." And I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And then a week later, my dad's mom passed away at 94. And then it's like he can like kind of predict the future. Sometimes it's kind of strange. It's like a wizard in some strange way. And there's a song, track 3, called "Cry," featuring Kenny G playing a really soaring, wonderful soprano saxophone solo that he knocked out in one take. And it's a song from my dad. And there's a song with Jeff Goldblum called "Until It Happens to You," and it's Jeff on the second verse, not singing, but speaking to his 2 kids through music, which I don't believe he's done before. So I'm very happy to have that instance on my album as well. There's a song about my perspective of what home is, because I'm constantly I've never really had a solidified home since my career started. I'm always traveling, and we have Hikaru Tada, Japanese icon, on the second verse, giving her perspective of her home in Japan. There's a song about my brother called "Hey Brother," what it's like to be siblings both in the music industry, and I'm doing my thing and he's doing his thing, and if we're closer or further apart, like what our perspective on that. There's a kind of a movie-esque song where called "Sideways" with Coco Jones. There's a song called "New Jersey," which has a Snoop Dogg chronic West Coast beat, and it's a song about why I pretend I don't like going to New Jersey because something not great happened there once. It's kind of fun. It's my most theatrical album.
Yeah, it feels like you're in a world. It's really
Yeah.
world building in a way that I like the approach of it's it's very of its era musically also to offer the listener a world to go into and then let the label find the single, let the team
Yeah.
find the single, but
Yeah.
just write your best song and do some cool shit and then let somebody else judge whether it's good.
We put a tour. I've sold more tickets than I ever have, and we have a couple songs warming up right now. Like that says everything to me. People are finally starting to understand me as a artist because I'm giving them a reason to understand. It's exciting. By the way, to write these songs, you know how I did it? Just a little bit of mushrooms, just like those, just a little bit, just a little bit, half a little nibble, and just have a cup of black coffee, and then I resisted it for a long time because I was like kind of scared of like how it would make me feel, but like it just the sky got bluer. The C major sounded more like a C major chord. I don't know. I just like you dig in, and it just like sounds more. It's you have to experience it, but it allowed me to worry less about the outcome of whatever I was writing.
The collaborators are obviously icons.
Michael McDonald and Kenny Loggins
Yeah,
too.
let's just go through some of those. What's it like working with Michael McDonald?
Very normal. Came over 15 minutes early. Texted me, "Oh, am I too early?" I'm like, "No, come in." He was like, "Should we get a coffee?" He was like, I was like, "Do you live close to here?" Like, "Yeah, like 20 minutes away." We just went out and got some coffee. Kenny met us at the house. He's like, "Oh, can I get a coffee too?" I'm like, "Yeah, meet us down the street." We're just like talking about,
You're having like the craziest, iconic,
but
like,
it's so casual.
Yeah.
It's like it's like going to a delicatessen in my hometown with like two music icons, but like they're not carrying themselves in that way at all. And what I thought to be so interesting is that they wrote. I was like, okay, they probably have a different way of songwriting. I was wrong. They have the same exact process of like, I was playing something. They have the same exact process that we would have if we were to write a song right now. I was playing something. They weren't really. I was getting really Doobie Brothers, and they weren't really vibing with it. And Kenny, I think he thought he was whispering in my ear, but he really was yelling in my ear. Let Mike play something. I'm like, okay. And he started playing. When I heard the chromatic approach.
yeah.
Oh, what changed? That's my Michael McDonald
Yeah.
impression. What changed? And I was like, what changed? What changed? And then he's
Me playing the piano.
I thought you were with it. I was like, and then Kenny was like, and Kenny was like, give me a
Amazing.
guitar. He was like, he started playing, and he like put that on top of the chords Mike just played. And I just texted Blood. I said, like, usually I layer my drums, but I was like, just give me a loop. I don't even care. Just give me a baked in like drum loop. Kind of like a latch tempo a little bit. And just. It sounded like a modern day yacht rock kind of thing with the guys who invented yacht rock. It was a trip.
Your family must be really proud.
Yeah, I remember when Elton John was. I didn't tell my parents Elton John was over, and he explained how he wrote "Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me." I've never seen my parents like do this before.
Yeah.
They're usually not impressed by anybody I bring.
What's it
around.
like working with Jeff Goldblum?
It was kind of. It was the antithesis of writing a song. I came in with the song done, deleted my second verse, and told the engineer to loop. The 8 bars like for infinity, just like loop it for like 45 minutes, and the little glass window that you can look to at the producer. He was looking at me, and I was like, Jeff, just talk to me like I'm your son or something. What would you say to your son if your son was looking at you right now? He would say, well boys, and like it's like the talking part in a Broadway song. Well, boys, if I were to tell you one thing, don't miss a second of it. the hardships that might happen across but until it happens to you when you lose somebody, that's it, in the most Jeff Goldblum way, and we were all getting chills just because there was just a little bit of music playing under. It was completely out of rhythm. It was just free flowing consciousness kind of stuff.
Were you with all of the collaborators when they recorded their parts?
I wasn't. Kenny G recorded his part at his studio. He likes to record alone. I didn't know that.
In Seattle? Is
in
that where
Malibu.
Oh, he's in Malibu. Are there other artists outside of our orbit that you can communicate with on a musical level? I mean, who are
outside
the other...
of who's our orbit?
Yeah. Like I imagine that there's this text chain of music dorks that talk about like, oh man, have you heard this chord change? Like, what other artists that are current do you communicate with on this kind of musical level?
I think like Chris Stapleton I spoke to moderately recently about because it was a period where I like a month went by and I couldn't hear any song in my head, and he said something. I think he was on a flight back somewhere. We were just had a really long, hours long text conversation about how it sounds obvious, but like you just need to kind of let the song write itself. And the moment the moment you set out to write a song is when you're not going to write a song. I mean, you know this. Like you can't like treat it as a homework assignment. He said just kind of like erase your mind and purposely tell yourself that you're not writing anything, and your subconscious is going to activate, and you'll catch your subconscious thinking. He said it a lot more prolific in a very crisp way, but that was wonderful advice on his flight back. So there are artists that love music just as much as we do.
Well, that I know. I mean, it's just you have a language that's so vast that, when you have 30 synthesizers.
31. One's on its way. One's a real piano. I have no more space. I don't know where it's going.
Yeah, I was driving by a guitar shop this weekend. And I was like, should we get a guitar? And Jack's like, you do not need other guitars. I was like, no.
But you never know.
Might.
Exactly.
We don't know what they have.
Yeah,
there are guitars I don't own, or they wouldn't have a guitar shop.
There might be a tone, like guitars are like thumbprints, not one is the same. There might be something about that guitar, that little 1956 Martin. I don't know a lot about guitars. There might be something about its tone that triggers your brain into thinking. Like I wrote my song Boy by borrowing the MXM Juno 106, and it's just because on the first setting, 11, 1-1, it just plung, plung, plung. I heard that and I was like, I know what song I'm writing. Like just based off a sound.
Yeah, that's hard to explain to people how, changing a sound can really change what a chord sounds like.
Like if I'm not writing anything, but when I do.
It sounds like, what's the Michael Jackson song that's ba, ba, ba,
with the synclavier?
Yeah.
I don't know. That was like a pitch down kind of sample kind of thing, but when I heard like even like making the chorus a little more deafy, speed. Like it makes you want to write. Like someone will. That's why I always ask someone when I do resume sessions, I never want to start playing the piano because I know exactly where I'm going. I want to hear someone who's not as proficient at the piano play, because they might be playing something that in a different way that I wouldn't. I might be playing it too correct. I want to hear the wrong way.
Going back a bit, because we've ghosted over a few things, but. Light Switch came during kind of COVID-ish era.
It was the most COVID TikTok song of all time, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it was interesting because it allowed the audience seemingly to have a vote in how the song was being written.
Yeah, I don't know if that would happen nowadays, and I don't even know if I would necessarily like do that, but it was just it was at a time where I didn't know what was good because I wasn't around. I was still living in LA, but I couldn't do sessions because everybody was so afraid to be around each other uh, for good reason. But I was by myself in Studio A at Conway, just concocting these ideas. So I turned to the internet. Hey, is this good? Like, I don't know.
But it kind of set that moment is in many ways, you know, when, you know, in 30 years when they do the documentary about you, you know, 10,
How
10,
I annoyed
15
everybody
more,
on the internet in
no,
2022.
It like it changed the course of the how I think some of the audience got to get to know you. It was a real like, oh, this is how he's doing it. Other artists, a lot of artists and a lot of writers disappeared during COVID.
Yeah.
And you kind of
Well, because
emerge.
they still had the mentality, and it's not a critique, it's just something I noticed. They had the mentality of, well, I'm an artist, I have to be mysterious. Sure, whatever, but everybody knows what everyone's doing now, so you might as well let people know what you're working on. I mean, Laroi was actually the one who inspired me to do that because while we were making Stay, he filmed like the first 10 minutes of us making Stay because it was one of those moments where we all knew it was special. And I was like, that's cool. He's letting his fans know right away what's going on. And I actually was watching the Food Network on how Twinkies are made. You ever see how Twinkies are made? There's a whole conveyor belt, and like it's so intricate. The 3 holes. I was like, why do Twinkies have 3 holes? And I'm watching this, and then I go to the Food Network and I look at how are Oreos made, and it dawned on me. This is before I made the song. It dawned on me like why wouldn't people care about how their favorite songs are made? Like, where's the conveyor belt for songs? Maybe I should, you know, kind of show how a song is made. And turns out people are really intrigued by that.
Yeah.
Still.
Left and Right was a big song.
Yeah, in Asia, there were a lot my third album was very well received in Asia.
Why?
Probably because I think I had one of the biggest superstars, Jungkook, on one of the songs. That
Helps.
That certainly helps.
Perfect timing. I mean, that's sort of the first one to move outside of BTS to do, something solo. That's probably
that was fun.
Maybe the first.
That was a fun one to do.
How did you get Jungkook to?
I know exactly. I was driving with my friend Adam Murcell and Charlie Christie, and we were listening to the Jack Harlow record in Adam's Range Rover. We were listening to First Class, and we were really excited to listen to. We were about to go get something to eat, probably something stupid like McDonald's, and Charlie in the back seat goes, "Guys, lower the volume." He reads out an email and says, Jungkook is going to sing the Left and Right song that he helped me out and sent along to the team.
Crazy.
And I'm like, yeah, that's not going to happen. And he was like, no, if they say they're going to do it, that means they're going to do it. And I still was like, I'll believe it when I see it. I don't want to get my hopes up. And he was like, Charlie, he calls me American Charlie. American Charlie, if they say they're going to do it, this means they're going to do it. And they did it. And they sent in multiple takes, and it was a great vocal.
Is American Charlie jaded?
Is American Charlie jaded? No, not when it comes to writing music and not when it comes to my artistry because I feel like I'm just getting started with that.
Yeah.
Very delayed start.
It's so interesting. Why do you feel like, most people don't have billions of streams and a bunch of hits before they're getting started. Mm-hmm. What's the future, Charlie?
I think the future is, you know how Teddy Riley was the godfather of a certain sound, and the Neptunes crafted that late 90s, like early 2000s clavier sound of the Noriega. And that whole thing and the Chad Hugo chords are like the really left of center chords, like that was their thing, and Max has always had his thing. I don't feel like I've ever invented my musical thing because I can do so much. People know it's a Charlie song by the melody and everything, but my goal in the next 10 years is to, as a producer, and this is like my artistry aside, as a producer, coming up with a really particular distinct style like the Neptunes did, and like the like how it's a Rodney Jerkins production, just it has the bounce to it, and etc. I don't feel personally like I've made that for myself. Yeah, people know my records because of my voice and the way that I play.
Is becoming a dad making the goal different?
It's reminding me that I have to make some room on the hard drive. It can't just be all about me. And that doesn't mean that's why it took me so long to settle down, because I always had in my head, well, the moment I settle down, it's not going to be about me and I have less time to work on songs. I think that's just the immature brain growing up. Now I have made more space for Brooke in my life, and now I'm making more space. The hard drive stays the same size, but different partitions. There's Mac OS X, there's Windows 95, there's Windows 98. Now there's room for baby. I believe that's going to make the Mac OS X a better running operating system. This is a very nerdy podcast, but it all plays into each other.
I mean, the time you have when you go to a studio when you have children, if you're going to be an attentive father, I shall say, or it may be more a present father, I should say, not necessarily attentive. But if you're going to be present, then that means that when you are not present, you have to be extraordinarily efficient.
Which I already am, and I know there's going to be hardships at times, like having
touring,
having a child and immediately going on tour is never.
How are you going to do that?
I'm just going to do it.
Are you guys going to all go together?
Well, not initially, but then we will.
How long is your tour for?
I believe like 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, that's wild.
But whenever I say I'm going to make it happen, I'll make it happen.
That is for sure. You are consistent with that. When you think of yourself as a writer or producer,
mm-hmm.
What's an artist that you think you could produce that needs Charlie Puth?
I don't think anybody needs me.
What's an artist?
And I mean that not to be like, wow, sure. How humble is he? I really mean that. I think I need people to grow. An artist that I feel could maybe benefit from my keyboards, and I don't know. There's a lot of places that people can go to. I really mean it. I don't know if anyone needs me. I just want to be in people's lives musically. What do you think?
No, that's interesting. Well, my next question was, you mentioned a lot of producers that you look up to.
Mm-hmm.
What artists do you look up to?
I look up at Victoria Monet, being able to make a. Let me put a better sound on here. When Jazzy showed me, how does it make you feel? How does it make you feel? Produced by D Mile. How does it make you feel? I look up to her. I look up to Bruno Mars. I look up to artists. There's Stella Lefty. I just heard her song for the first time. She signed to, I believe she signed to Cash and Jamie. She was able to. It was like her first song that she released. And it's doing really well right now. And she did it like all on her own with like a couple. At least I don't really know the story, but I'm just inspired by everybody. Is what I'm trying to get at.
What was the lowest point in your career?
The lowest point in my career was probably 2019, when I'd say October through December 2019, when I was on the road working records that I, for the first time, didn't align with. They were primarily made by other people, and I have a lot of respect for the people who made it. It has nothing to do with them and just everything to do with me at the time. But I didn't know what I was singing about. I didn't know why I was doing it. It had also external factors of the group of people that I was hanging around, and I felt a little lost artistically. I felt a little lost in my personal life. Like I kept thinking if I kept dating all these people, I was gonna find some excitement when I really knew that Brooke was always the one for me. It's kind of sad, and even when we first met, I just knew that I wanted to settle down early, but I always forced myself to, not because I thought it was going to affect my songwriting. It's so stupid saying it out loud now because I've had so much more success being happy. And I was cosplaying happy and cosplaying cool, and I kind of lost track of why I got started in this industry anyway. I look back to our fun moments at MXM and just being so enamored with everything around me. It's like a first time seeing all the synthesizers and all the studios, and I lost my way a bit. And then the pandemic happened, and I was forced to hit the giant internet reset button in the back of the modem.
Yeah, it's so hard to grow up as an artist in the business, especially if you came out with this like, I'm gonna be a writer, I'm gonna be an artist, and then like having to define yourself in that process is not natural. Like
No.
It's just like the least natural
Well,
way
that's not natural. Touring is not natural. Playing for 10,000, 20,000, sometimes 50,000 people, and them screaming your name and then going to the Hyatt alone.
Yeah, and being in a quiet room is really hard.
Like, I never did drugs, but I understand sometimes why people do them, because it's really painful at times.
Mm-hmm. Let's go with some rapid fire questions. How about,
okay,
when was the last time a song surprised you?
of my own?
Sure.
Or was that the question, or just like
I mean, that's kind of interesting. Just, when was the song that you were like, this is not a hit, and it turned out to be a hit, or vice versa, where you're like, this is great, and they didn't get it?
I never thought it wasn't a hit. I always thought it was a good song. I just thought it was a bit random. Me hopping on a, quote, remix of the song I Hope by Gabby Barrett in 2020.
Oh, yeah, that was huge.
I think it peaked at number 3 on the chart, and I just like, this is, I just like this song because I like this song. I wish I wrote this song. I didn't expect it to be a blockbuster mega smash. And I guess I never expected Omi's Cheerleader to take See You Again off its position. I thought, I actually didn't like Attention before it came out. I thought it was me, like, I was like, I don't hear a piano on here. I'm going to have to stand up in front of a crowd and sing. That was my overthinking OCD at the time. So I was surprised that people got Attention right away.
Do you like performing without a piano?
Not as much.
It's totally different.
It's totally different. And I can't really dance. I've gotten used to it. I can move around, but I speak better when there's a piano next to me. I tend to trip over my words sometimes. That's why I have a piano next to me.
I remember, I played for hundreds and maybe 1,000 people in my band's prime in my 20s.
Uh-huh.
But just remember, the band being like, you should put down the guitar for a couple of these songs, and be like, okay. And this strange, like, what do you do with your hands? Like, you're holding onto a mic. I guess I'll hold onto a mic stand. And I'm watching like videos of people doing mic stand tricks, trying to figure out how to do, like, what do you do with,
like this.
Yeah.
And I got to think about how to hold a mic stand. I don't have to think here. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's so natural to, like, it's a bit of a crutch.
It is a crutch, but I can't stand up without it. I mean, I can. I'm just...
Yeah, sure.
I don't know. I stand up taller with it.
What did success fix, and what did it not fix?
Success on its own did not bring happiness. Like, buying an Aston Martin did not make me happy. buying a house was it was a great sense of accomplishment, but having all the house parties with people I barely knew did not make me happy. Having like X, Y, and Z show up at my 30th birthday pretending that they were best friends with me and then shortly leaving after did not make me happy. The simple things in life make me happy. Going to Chili's Encino. Have you ever been to Chili's Encino?
I have not.
It's
But I've
such
been to Islands right by there.
islands, similar thing.
Yeah.
Go to Chili's, go to Kiwami on Ventura
Yeah, sure.
at 8 p.m. on a Tuesday night after having written a song that's pretty good, but you know if you open it up tomorrow after some crispy rice, you'll make it better. Like, that's happiness to me. Material things don't make me happy. I thought they would make me happy. But I now I like wear the same jeans every day. It's the things that that started like going out to eat. Food makes me happy. Simple food makes me happy.
Yeah, we were
Consistency.
saying yesterday, we were having a conversation where it was like, bigger houses don't make happier homes.
No, it's because you want the bigger house. I've had the Rolls Royce Cullinan, and I felt like sad in it. I was like, what's wrong with this? I've always wanted a Rolls Royce. I look like a doofus driving this.
It's a weird thing, man. Like there's also just the new money when you see money that you've never seen before, and you're like, what do you do with this?
I was never.
So you just buy things.
I was never reckless, but that's material things.
But you can
do
see how
not make-
people do get reckless.
Absolutely, I've been reckless in the past. And I always told myself I wouldn't. But what I remind myself is nothing gives you the feeling of like, you know what it's like. Like, what was it like hearing the finished mix of My House? I know you've written so many songs, but like My House, and you blasting it in the library room at MXM, and it's like perfect, and everyone's there bopping along. The kick is placed perfectly. The snare is hitting you in the gut. You can make the shit loud, and it's not piercing your ears. And you just like know that there's gonna be a label plan behind it. Like you get excited. No, like that. There's no feeling than hearing a done song that will like. There's no car, no amount of jewelry, nothing will ever make you feel the same way.
Is there a hit on your phone that nobody's ever cut? That's not made for Charlie. That's like just one you're like, this song's so good, and someday it's gonna be a hit.
Actually, there is a song I did with Sam Smith. They came over in 2019. They recorded this with me on the SM7, and we never recorded proper vocals to it. I think that song is a smash. No one's ever heard it before. It's called Denial, and it's kind of like The Boy Is Mine.
Yeah.
Brandy and Monica, but Sam starts off like, need to talk to you, but I'm scared, and I go, why? I'm only saying this 'cause I'm your friend. And I go, okay. I saw her dancing with someone else, and then in the second verse, I'm like, by the way, I saw something too, and like it's like a crazy conversation back and forth. Oh my god,
it's like Dean Martin and Sinatra or something.
Oh my god, it has like a little shuffle thing. If it ever comes out one day, I'll be so happy. Not to.
Why don't you release it?
It's just Sam, timing. The pandemic messed everything up.
Yeah.
They have to go follow their gut and what they want to do with their artistry, and I have to follow my gut of what I want to do with my artistry. I'm never gonna force something.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, I think that it's such a rare thing. You hear about those see you again moments, and everyone, you could work 3 years and have that happen once, and that one song doesn't come out, and so you have to just keep grinding and trying to find those moments, because those moments are just like when you know it. I'm glad I keep voice notes of everything, because I have the voice notes of pretty much all the seeds of like the almost every song I've ever done.
You were the first person to show me like the act of recording everything constantly.
Yeah.
That was the first time I saw. So like we were at MXM. I've said MXM like 100 times in this, but you just hit record and then like put it over there. I'm like, okay, I'm thinking this. I'm like, what if I say something stupid? That was the first thing I thought. And I'm like, oh, just in case I forget something. That's why he has it on. I think writing songs is like printing out free lottery tickets. Like, can you imagine if lottery tickets were free? You'd go to the gas station every day and you'd get a lottery ticket.
I said this to Amar once, Malik, and I said, well, it's a lottery. It's like it's a rigged lottery, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. So if you can continue to work where your songs are heard with positive ears throughout the process, then you have a really good shot. And it's like, why aren't you spending the time to write when, when Powerball's at $1 billion, it's a family habit to go and buy a ticket. I don't know why. I don't think it would we never have a shot to win, but I always say it's like it's worth the dollar.
Yeah, of course.
To spend all day being like, what would I do with $1 billion, and being able to have that conversation.
Yeah,
and
you would still write songs.
I don't know if my life would change. I actually said the last time we did, I was like, literally, I don't know if we would be able to change anything. We have 2 lovely kids. They're healthy. They're fed. They get to go to school. I get to go write songs. Like everybody's stoked. Like,
I think being a billionaire would be stressful, to be completely honest.
And you wouldn't be able to tell anyone you won. No, versus which is different in your case. Like everybody knows you won the lottery. Do you feel like people take from you?
Yeah, people have definitely taken from me a lot, like actual money and like my energy and my time. And I thought I was friends with so and so X, Y, and Z, and then it turns out that there was something in the back of their head the entire time. Like I like my perfectly manageable level of fame, and I remember why I got into this because it's because of this. It's not because of all glitz and glam. That does nothing for you.
Do you have to? Do you have to be more private because of that?
Well, that's why I moved. And I know that I'm going to be starting a family. And I know that the city of Los Angeles changed my life moving here. And it will always be part of my life. But, everybody keeps that. I'm going to say, I don't know if I'm having a boy or a girl. But they said, if you're having a boy, do you know if you're going to name the boy Charlie? Or if you're having a girl, are you going to name the girl Charlie? And my answer is no, because I want them to have... They're like, what if they don't want to have anything to do with music and now they're stuck with my name? or worse, they want to do music and maybe they're getting constant comparisons. Like that's... I'm cognizant of a normal life. I really respect folks like John Bellion who stay in New York and have massive success because they know where their success comes from. It's their privacy and their family and their comfort.
Yeah, it's so, I've said it a bunch in this interview, and I know you were that. Can't believe it was 9 years ago. This podcast is 9 years old.
That's crazy. I believe I was one of who was the first guest? Was it me?
No, it was Benny. And we just recorded I would say we recorded our first 12, and most of the episodes before we released one, which was really smart because it kept it it's easy for people to give up. There's a neon sign over there that says geniuses finish things. And in order to do that, you have to plan ahead. Yeah. You have to be and it's easy to try something, release it, and be like, well, that was fun. I mean, a lot of people have started a podcast. It's a different thing to keep it going for 9 years.
I mean, it's a testament to your guys' hard work. It's more popular than ever, and it's literally a part of my promo schedule now. How about that?
That's awesome.
We're always going to write songs, but I did not expect that. This is a part of my schedule now. That's
wild.
That's wild and crazy. And
there's a song that came up on my iTunes that I want to say it was
in a long time on my iTunes.
Not iTunes. On my Apple Music. My play my playlist.
Oh man,
it's just getting worse.
What's the song?
I'm trying to remember what it was called, but it was something that you and I did that I think it was one that I think it wasn't Chris Brown, but someone like that wanted to cut, but we couldn't find the files for it. It was some,
Sounds like me.
It.
I lose the files to everything.
No, it's just like
I'm
it was
the
like
worst.
every time I think like, oh, we've written more than I think. Like
No,
we actually have
absolutely.
like a lot of songs that, and I think
Alicia Keys cut one of our songs. There's like a lot. We have written a lot.
But there's something about it doesn't feel like work.
No, it
because
doesn't.
And especially because it's you, me, and Johan for most of it, and
we just fuck around the whole time.
Yeah, and it's like music dorks unite, and it gets really fun.
I have belly laughed with you and Johan.
Yeah, for sure.
Like Johan doing the Ross Golan impression makes me. I just.
It's great because it's like spot on, but with a slight Swedish accent.
He's laying back in his chair doing a Ross accent. It just makes me laugh.
I just think of
I'm so afraid of offending people, and he is not.
I just think of poke bowls.
Because that's all we would eat, because it's light and it gives you energy.
It is, but if you get extra pokey, you might be in trouble. That's all I gotta say about that.
Did we eat something one time that all gave us
like
diarrhea?
All three of us were like,
what did we eat?
I thought it was pokey. But
I think we all ate bad pokey.
But I just remember this like
I
moment.
just did too. We all had to cancel the next day because we were all shitting.
I just remember like this. You've got three guys who are like, yeah, let's order in pokey, and then like
I'm like, you want
dropping like flies. Like
we all kept taking trips to the bathroom.
Yeah, that's real.
We couldn't get the record done. My stomach was gore. I had to be like, do it again. Wait, hold on. Where did we order from?
I just remember like this was after when it was long enough that you were in like a health mode, so you were like, let's order extra. I remember extra pokey. Like you don't need it.
Because I didn't understand the concept of like, I thought at the time more protein meant healthier. I didn't realize you probably need to eat some cucumbers, some fiber, get some soluble fiber in there. I was just like, let's just eat a block of protein, and I think it was kind of stinky, and we really messed up our tummies. I remember that. I think we canceled the next day.
That's so great.
There's so many memories, but that's all centered around music, which is the most beautiful thing.
Yeah, I mean that's
Maybe not that isolated.
No, but it's good. But that's the thing. Is like you have these moments where you're not quite in a band where like if you show up to a session and you don't contribute, then no one will work with you again. Or you'll find maybe you're the vibe guy for a certain group, or you're the kind of writer you go in that. But when the fact that over a decade you can find time to be like, should we do a session? Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even during COVID, we did like a couple hikes around when Johan was here, you were here, and we did like, it was just like you end up with like real friendships, and even if
there happens to be music playing in the background.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know how exciting it is to hear about our friendship, but music really does like provide the soundtrack to our lives. It's
totally.
It's especially fun when you are the ones making it.
Yeah. Well, man, I'm so excited for the album to come out. Obviously, like I said to you earlier, I was like, I often thumb through albums when people send them. I don't always listen to all the albums.
Thank you for not thumbing through whatever's clever.
Dude, it's hard. Like you listen to the songs that are focus tracks, and then you're kind of getting through. Like you're everybody's doing other things.
Do you like how informal I am? I just text you like MP3s of it.
Man, that's exactly what I would hope. And but the first song
label sends like fucking like watermarked. This is the artist Yellow Dandelion. Fuck that. I'm gonna text you an MP3 like I always have.
It makes it feel homey, and I just listening to the first song being I used to be cringe and being like I'm just so proud of you for being vulnerable. I think vulnerability is
that's the key nowadays.
It's the key nowadays. And if you're brave enough to go there, you had to be lead lyricist, lead,
Yeah, even if it wasn't in. Even if it was grammatically incorrect at times, it's what I was feeling at the time.
Yeah, I mean, I just am proud of you, man. It's really exciting, and I hope this album is. I don't care how it's received. I know it's wonderful, and people will. If the objective is to have people get to know who you are, I don't know how you don't do that with this album.
I think a good way to end it is that I think when you stop caring about the outcome is when you actually get the outcome that you want. There's 250,000 people who already like pre-ordered it. And that was a surprise to me. This is the first time where I wasn't like refreshing the Spotify numbers every day. This like ad text and everything. How's everything doing? It's just, it just feels right to me.
It's great, man.
I'll see you in another 9 years.
Dude, I mean, okay, do you think it'll take 9 years for you to do
How old will I be? 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39,
43.
40.
How are you that bad at math?
I'm
You're
horrible
like
at
so
everything except music.
I mean, that's addition, man.
Ugh, all I had to do was round to 10 and subtract 1, too.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell
is a
time
tough
till I was
one.
14.
That cannot be accurate.
No, it is. I can hear stuff in my head and replay any song.
You said July. I mean, I don't know. I don't know why I remember this, but you said July 14th, whatever the date was, and then the.
I remember stupid things or important things that are important to me. Like, for example, I know the first country song I ever wrote was with that guy over there, Joe London. Remember that? With Thomas Rhett? That was the first, and it was kind of like a crossover pop kind of country thing. I was like, I like this guy's snare drum. Yeah, I feel good.
Oh, we should talk about your snare drums.
Oh yeah.
I like that they have rooms. They're large now.
Yeah, they're
Are those recorded live, or are they?
They come from a kit, and then we run them through an ASR. But I still have my layered. There's a free sample hit and little snap. You know the trick with the snap. You do click. Perfect. Little pre-shifted snap.
Little
little
flam in there.
And here's a good kick. And here's a good longer kick. That's the top that you put on the kick. Put those together, and then that's an A flat 808, and tune that however you like.
Well, that was free for all of you.
That was free for everybody.
Dude, thank you so much. Enjoy doing 9 more promo things
That's
today.
okay.
And
this is my favorite one.
I appreciate you coming by.
Thank you. I'll see you in 2 seconds. It's
There you
not
go.
goodbye. But it's goodbye to you. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.